Dumaguete.
Hello, Negros Oriental.
Hello, Sillimanians around the world.
This is Joshua Soldivillo.
And this is Ronelyn Vailoces-No.
You're watching #Silliman.
Good evening, everyone. This is a magazine program that talks about different aspects of Silliman University, a program initiated to discuss matters concerning the campus by the sea. Welcome, everyone, to #Silliman. Hello, maayong gabi and welcome and thank you for making #Silliman your Monday night habit. Today is November 6. I hope you enjoyed that long weekend. No, from October that we had a lot of celebrations from United Nations Month to Mental Health Awareness Month. And here in Silliman University, actually we had a busy month, especially the students. No, they had their midterms week, performance task week, and quarterly assessment week. So we really need that long weekend to unwind and of course visit our the tombs of our loved ones who departed. No, but this time we are now back to the university and let's talk about mental health and let's see if you really enjoyed your vacation and it allows you to unwind, no? You have a refreshed mind. And to talk about mental health and more, let us all welcome our guests for tonight. And to start with, let me first introduce to you the guidance counselor for the College of Law, Senior High School Department, and IEMS, Institute of Environmental and Marine Sciences. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Miss Rochelle Marie Remollo. Good evening.
Good evening.
And we also have here tonight the career advocate for early childhood and elementary school, and she is also a faculty member of the Senior High School Department, Miss Kristin Cataylo.
Good evening.
Hello, Ma'am Teen. Hello, Ma'am Rochelle, and welcome to #Silliman.
Thank you.
Let's keep the ball rolling, ma'am, and let's talk about mental health. This year's theme for Mental Health Awareness Month is Mental Health as a Universal Human Right. Let's talk about it. Why is it a right?
First and foremost, we have laws that protects every human right, and there should be an emphasis not only on the physical health but also the mental health as well. So everybody should have access to mental health services, like we have access to water, food security. So I think that's one of the things that should be emphasized, that that being a human right, it should be given more importance at this point in time.
Yeah, because I think we also have this stigma, no? That when we talk about mental health, parang kabaliwan lang ang iniisip ng iba, and that's what we need also to, raise awareness that it's not just being crazy or whatnot. So what are the different mental health issues that we are facing now, especially the students after the midterms week? Or is it also right to say that these exams can also cause, mental health problems to our students, or we should not overstate it that way?
I think when we talk about mental health, diba, there's positive mental health and there's also negative. So
Yes.
that's how we address every problem that we encounter. So any inconvenience could be a trigger, diba, or it could cause feelings of anxiety, anxious feelings, and sometimes we misconstrue it as, things that gubuto ni mo utok ba? But basically, it's really something that we should be more aware of. Na how do we deal with difficulties? How do we manage our time? How do we take care of our mental headspace? Like, for example, when we deal with problems, when we deal with grief, when we deal with all these things, common problems among students, there's no routine, no time management is poor. Study habits also are not with them much practiced or imbibed. They get themselves into so many things. They get themselves involved with so many things. Walay proper timing ba? And overall, it's really more like overthinking is one of the things that I see
Overthinking.
most students go through, di ba, Tin? Na they think about things that are not happening yet. So they worry about things that shouldn't even be something that they should be facing right now.
Yeah, and it's not just the students. When you mentioned overthinking, it's like a slap on my face also, because I do it also a lot of the time, Ma'am Shell. But how do we manage? How do we refrain ourselves from overthinking, Ma'am Shell, coming from a guidance counselor's perspective?
Me on my part, self-care is very important, no? And also, there are other things that you could work on in terms of dealing with overthinking, like positive self-talk, mindfulness, mga ganun. Every now and then, you have to take a break. And then, actually, it depends on the person and how you see things. It takes a lot of undoing. Like, for example, if you're an overthinker, you have to reframe your mind from thinking about all the negative thoughts. So that's where positive, like, reframing should come in. Okay, we have the tendency to look at the worst case scenario all the time. So murag pagani nahitabo, imo namang giunhan, di ba? So
Yes.
it's a bad habit that can be unlearned. I think, as we grow older, we realize that there are things that we cannot control. We can only control our response to a situation, but we cannot control, like, other people, how they deal with you. So before you react, you have to take a breather, take time to think. So kanailang gingon ba nga, thinking should you be thinking fast or should you be thinking slow? So I think at this point in time, we should start kanang thinking slow, like shouldn't react less siguro. Give it time before you react. Okay, it poses a lot of problems when we are too reactive.
Yes.
Diba? Type dayon, mga keyboard warriors,
Especially
mga
in the internet nowadays.
Yeah, oo.
No, and that makes sense, no? When we talk too much about the past and too much about, the future, it seems that we forgot how to live now. No? And let's talk about the services. And I know that the guidance and testing department is there to listen to the problems perhaps of the students, not just the students, but the faculty and staff also. Let's talk about the services of the guidance and testing department. Ma'am Tin, what's the role as a career advocate? What's your role?
So we actually work hand in hand with our guidance counselors. So we help them establish the programs that we have for the students, most especially because they have different struggles. Lain-lain siya every department, every college. So that's why the programs that we also have to offer should be something aligned and suitable for their needs. So that's why we do needs assessment as well, because we need to find out unsa may need aning certain students. Kay varying gid siya depending on the courses, depending on the level that they are in. So that's what we do as career advocates. So we help create programs with our guidance counselors so that we will be able to implement that to help them, especially very much sa ilang mental health, and not just on their mental health, but basically on their overall holistic approach sa ilang health ba.
Let's talk about these programs, Ma'am Tin. Can we be more specific of what are the programs that we have?
Yeah, right now we have recently launched our mental health caravan. So this is a caravan basically, and this is not just a one-time event. So there will be more in the coming months that students could actually look forward to, and we can also invite our faculty members to join and even our staff. So we have already started it with our first year students, all college students, and we did our first mental health caravan on building resilience. So I think that's very important, especially nowadays na we really need to help them learn from the experience basically of the guidance counselors, because they were the ones who got interviewed. It was like a talk show, and then they were able to share what their experiences were with the people they have dealt with in the past. And even they themselves, they share their own experiences on how they could actually kind of inspire those students to, they themselves, develop resilience.
Now, you talked about resilience, and I really wanted to know how we can build resilience, no? Ma'am Shell, from a psychologist's perspective, how do we really build resilience within ourselves?
There's a lot of equipping that should be done. So a lot of self-awareness, and then seeking professional help is also one. No, if you're going through something, you have to really ask for help. Other than that, kana mindfulness na mga activities, positive reframing. I mentioned it earlier. There are other ways that we can build resilience, but other people can resort to like their spirituality. If they can help them, you have to surround yourself with a strong support system. So I think, family, church, our school environment should provide an environment that supports our learners. So that's one of the things that we can do. Like, for example, we have to build our relationships with our students so that they have that confidence to really go to you. Like, you build that connection. So the students don't feel intimidated when they have concerns. So, for example, if you're in a class, you're teaching, and you see that someone is struggling, at least they don't need to directly go to a guidance counselor, but as a student-teacher na relationship, kung strong siya, pwede rin sila they can go to you for their concerns, no? And it's not difficult for them to make their teachers know that they're also struggling with so many things, because sometimes there are a lot of things that gets lost in translation. So building resilience, different aspects should be built up also. Mental, emotional, physical, all those things, it encompasses one's resiliency. So kinanglan na siya. And I think more than resiliency, we also have to teach our students and even our colleagues, to be more transformative. Kaya, really, ang resiliency can be romanticized, manggod na resilient ra kayo, dali ra kayo maka-bounce back. But but I'm more concerned about people bouncing back, but bouncing back better than their previous selves ba. So we learn more from what we experience by being better versions of ourselves. So I think that's more than enough to really make sure that we have healthy individuals in this society.
Ma'am Shell, listening from your answers, it gave me an idea on, it's really difficult. There is really a depth with this year's theme, that mental health is a universal human right, because it's not just an effort that must be done within yourself, but it also encompasses the society as a whole. Your role as a teacher, you have an impact to the student, and also the guidance counselors, and even to the peers and friends that you have. Now, let's talk more about the mental health caravan, because I do believe that it's not just building resilience. Your topic is not just about it. You have a lot of topics. Let's talk about that when #Silliman returns. And now we're back. Thank you very much for staying with us here in #Silliman. Before we took a break, I asked a question about what are the different topics that we have for the mental health caravan, except from building resilience, which is really important nowadays, especially for our students, and not just for students, but adults, no? Especially those who have existential crises or whatnot. So let's talk more about the different issues or topics that we had. Ma'am Tin, would you like to continue?
Okay, so we will be having other topics other than building resilience, such as, so we will be having the dangers of self-diagnosis, and then we also have supporting peers with mental health, and also adjusting to college life. So I think these are very important topics that we really have to deal with, we really have to tackle with. Na these are things that we see that need gid siya sa mga students, no, that they have, even for our faculty and staff also, most likely they also need to have all these things, na because anywhere right now there are a lot who are experiencing mental health challenges, for as common as stress, anxiety. So how can we help them, because not all the time nga as professionals are there also. So if ever the most kanang, there are people also nga ilahang trust is more built on the people they are always with. So how can we actually help them also, for them to be able to support each other?
Yes. The dangers, let's talk about the dangers of self-diagnosis, because I often hear my students when they complain, maka-depress ka ayo ang kuan midterms karon, and I do believe that depression is not a joke. So Ma'am Chel, how do we address that? Being politically correct is also helpful for us to understand more in depth about mental health, and what are the dangers of self-diagnosis?
First and foremost, like for example, when we talk about depression, because depression is a clinical condition. So we can't just say if you're extremely sad and you're depressed. It's not. It doesn't follow. So we have to make our students understand that there are terms that we should be using. Like when you express your emotions, so if you're sad and you say you're sad, you're exhausted, you're tired, you're frustrated, you don't just say you're depressed, because we're like, diminish na to ang kwan ba? Those people who are going through or struggling with depression. So a lot of the students now, they go to Google, they go to YouTube or whatever, they can access that online, and then they sometimes self-diagnose. Sometimes we do that, diba? We look it up, or katong mga symptoms. Murag ingunani ko gamay, I may have a little bit of this. Pero the thing is, if you're unsure, and sometimes don't go ahead of yourself, ask someone for help, someone who's a professional. So go see your guidance counselors, or if you know of a clinical psychologist, then maybe set up an appointment. Because sometimes we do things, diba? It's like taking medicine ba? If we take meds that are not prescribed for us, then it might have side effects. So the same thing with self-diagnosis. We do things thinking that we are this, and then dili di ay. So and also we're giving a mura gatong kuag trabaho ni mga kinahanglan nga trabaho, di ba? So kailangan siya nga kanang we put everything in proper perspective. Wala may problema if you think maybe ADHD dagay ko gamay anak kay you will be more aware. Pero awareness man good should come kanang yung proper knowledge ba nga information that you need. Kay in case lang kinahanglan diglaing intervention, nagmugna ra kag imuhang solution, and you didn't seek somebody's expertise, diba? So I think we have to normalize that. So that's why we encourage our students to, if they need to talk to someone, that they shouldn't hesitate to go to their guidance counselors or to someone they're comfortable with, whether it's a pastor or their priest, kana-ana bitaw. Okay, sometimes it helps man, diba? You talk to someone that you're comfortable with. So, kana siya, and then if there's a need to refer, i-refer sila og say clinical psych or psychiatrist if kinanglan gyud. Kay that's what we do now, no? We have limitations to how we do things. Like, for example, as guidance counselors, there are things that we cannot handle. Like, there are a lot of clinical cases na sometimes if it's too much for us, we have to seek the help also of someone who knows better. So, kana, mga psychiatrists, we need to consult with them or at least i-refer ba. Kay, basin kita mo yung makaingon, wala ta nakatabang. So, that's what we usually do. It's collaborative, actually. It's really not like kanira sila ragi kabalo. We also have to work with other professionals also.
Yeah, I also get that, Ma'am Shell, because when we self-diagnose, gani, no, it robs us also our peace of mind. So let's go back to overthinking and overthinking. Imbis gamay atong problema, mas makatako noon. No, so it's really good to know that the guidance counselor are there to help. No, and Ma'am Tin, the third topic that you mentioned is talking to supporting peers with
mental
like
health.
So
challenges.
what is it all about?
Yeah, so basically, it will help those peers who have mental health challenges on how they address it, how they not really address it, but how they actually help them, being with them, what do they do, what can they do. Kay sometimes manggod, diba, if naay problem ang usa ka student, for example, usually dili gyud na siya mo diretso sa iyang teacher or sa iyang guidance counselor. Usually madto gyud na siya sa iyang friends. That's why most of the problems that they have, they tell it to their friends. So it's most of the time it's really the friends who knows. So sometimes gani diba ati siya nga we call the friend also pag interviewon because they know a lot about the situation. So for them also, so that they will also be aware on how they will be able to manage their friend nga dili ila ra pong i-keep, because sometimes manggod when they keep it to themselves, what happens is it will result ba to something negative na noon later on nga gitago-tago or dain nila. And then I kept it a secret from my friend and this is what happened. So that we don't want that to kanang escalate to that point. So at least nga they are also aware themselves ba na I'm helping my friend if I do this, if I do the right thing. Nga not just kanang keeping it a secret because my friend told me it's a secret and kuan na day life threatening na di ay ang nahitabo. So we don't kuan. And also there are a lot of kanang peers who worries ba good about their peers experiencing these mental health challenges. So at least nga kanang they are even in practical ways ba they will be able to know how they can handle it themselves also.
So basically we are training also our students to on how to react and how to give pieces of advice to their peers, Ma'am Tin. But my question also, Ma'am Tin and Ma'am Shell, is that how do we protect ourselves, especially we are not really trained to diagnose, or we are not really trained to unpack the different problems that our friend has. So how do we protect ourselves from not feeling the same way, or not also experience the same sadness that they have? So how do we protect ourselves also from that? Because it will have an effect on us also, Ma'am Shell.
But you call that the ragnay contagion, diba? Magtakod-takod ba? So it's important na you have to also acknowledge your limits. I can't do this all, diba? I can't solve the problem for you. So for friends and katumang support system, it's very essential that you have to be there para for them to listen, diba? For them to have someone listen to them. So here in the campus, we just also finish recruiting peer facilitators or peer advocates, murag SUPAP, diba? We call it that. They just kaya mag-train me og mga peer facilitators who would be, murag sila pseudo counselors ba? Like these are students who volunteer their time to train as pseudo counselors. So if people will know that they're around, they can go to them and then refer them to the counselors para na bridge in a way. And then going back to your question about how do we protect ourselves, no? So kato, apart from acknowledging your limitations, you have to also know that this is the extent that I can help you with. So referral is very important. And even with us, importante gani nang we do self-care.
Yes.
Oo. So you know when to step back na murag murag di na ako ni ma-handle or ingon na, especially if you're also dealing with the same problem. So the tendency manggod ka na lagi magtakod-takod ba, and instead of helping, you're all drowning yourselves in the problem. So walay solution kay walay adult in the room. So importante manggod nang you have someone that you can go to ask for another perspective. Kay lahi manggod na if you just talk among yourselves, especially students, no, murag wala na laing kuan. They don't see this, di ba? They see the same thing as it is. Pero if there's an adult who will pitch in lain-lain of perspective, they can actually help them murag turn things around ba in a way so they get guidance. Murag na.
Now we can only take as much. So as much
Yeah.
as possible, we can also reach our hands to different people that we trust, no? And Ma'am Tin, let's also talk about the last topic for this mental health caravan, which is coping,
Helping students
helping
adjust.
students in the college life, or something like that.
Yeah. So I think that's also one of the things na we need to really have, kay, especially our students are coming from different places.
Yes.
And let's say it's been a while nga, we had the pandemic also, but the thing is, a lot of them have experienced nga they stayed at home during for the last 2 years, I guess, na kanang ang ilang school is at home. So that's something also nga very new to them when they came back. Now we went back full face to face. So I think a lot of them had a hard time adjusting how they deal with all the schoolworks, how they deal with all the pressure that they experience, especially nga it's different, good. It's really different nga kanang face-to-face ta and online ta. And that's something they need, other than their academics, they also need to adjust to the place that they are in. Because we have, as what I've mentioned, we have students who are coming from different places, and each of these people, or each of these students, they have different backgrounds as well in the family. So culturally speaking, it's also different. So that's also a major adjustment. So how they will be able to handle that? But I think that will be helpful for them later on, as they transition. And eventually, adjustment will happen man gyud. Pero it's different when there is kanang murag na ay aid gani or na help nga for them to be able to better understand how to cope up with the things that they are facing, especially as a new college student.
You know, listening from all this conversation, I do believe that these kinds of activities, initiatives are really timely and relevant, not just to the students, but the faculty and staff also, and the rest of the Silliman community. And how I hope that we have a lot of time to talk about this, no, but we're really running out of time. So I just give this moment to you, Ma'am Shell and Ma'am Tin, to please invite our viewers about the different activities that were spearheaded or that will happen, no, for the succeeding days. Ma'am Tin or Ma'am Shell? Yeah.
Okay, so we're inviting you to join us in our mental health caravan. You can keep posted with our Facebook post on SUPOP, so you can follow and like the page. So announcements will be posted there as to when the dates are for this events. And also, if you need help with your mental health challenges, or you need just someone to talk to or someone to listen to you, you can go to Atiche and the rest of our guidance counselors here in Silliman University. And also your career advocates are there in the different departments to listen to you.
You know, Ma'am Tin, before we bid farewell to our viewers, let me ask this question. No, if you, the guidance counselors, the career advocates, or the Ates and Kuyas in our guidance and testing division, takes care of the whole Silliman community, who takes care of you? Ma'am Shell?
I mean, we take care of each other in the department. Actually, we are our own support system. So, we eat with, we eat out.
Yeah.
Mga pe, mga nana. And we do our own separate, like we all have our own individual way of dealing with our stresses, no? Like, for example, some, they do yoga, they run. They run marathons, they do that. Some, they spend more time with their family. Uban, they're active in their church activity. So, all these things. And I think, importante siya that we talk to each other. Like, each of us, we have our own like small groups no, that we can talk to, our peers and colleagues that we're comfortable with. So that's where we unpack and vent out our mga challenges in the workplace or even in life in general. So I think it's important na we have that mga support system. Kay lisod, mahal magpa-counseling, mahal magpa-psychia, mahal magbuka. So I mean, you know, even among us, we have to keep our heads above the water, because really, we can't help, you know, people if we are also ones who are needing help, diba? You can't pour from an empty cup. So we have to keep ourselves also sane, diba? For us to be able to help the entire community or the people that we service, no? So I think that iya-iyang paningkamot para okay ra gyapon ang mental headspace.
Yes, thank you for that, Ma'am Shell. Ma'am Teen, who takes care of you?
I agree with that, teacher. So as much as we also encourage our students no, na they need to have someone that they could talk to, it's the same thing for us. I think it's very important also na we process with each other our feelings, our emotions also with what we go through, because it's really different when you are kanang makuan ka sa stress, makuan ka sa mga buluhaton. So sometimes you forget about it, but I think it's very important na there's really gigan natin siya nga a support group who will be there to help you. Ako personally, I have a lot of support group in the community, in the church, and here in school. So I'm able to talk to them na really how I felt during that day, and also kanang different self-care treatments perhaps. So I love I go for a massage, or kanang I go to the gym. So that's something na really helps me a lot nga to recover for the next one. So kana lang gid siya. It's something you would always have to remember nga self-care is very important also, because you can never give what you do not have. So you need to have it also yourself so that you can help others.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Teen, Ma'am Shell, for this breather, no? It's refreshed our mind, and I hope that our viewers also have learned a lot of things from this conversation. And please let me remind you that when everything else fails, cast your burdens to the Lord, because He will give you rest. This has been Ronelyn Faith Vailoces, and hello Joshua, kindly come back soon, and to God be the glory. Hello there, Sillimanians. Thank you very much for watching #Silliman. Kindly follow our Facebook page, that is #Silliman. And to be more updated, kindly click the notification bell for our YouTube account, that is also #Silliman. And don't forget to click like, follow, and share. And of course, you can watch us also at Phil Products Channel 6 every Monday at 8 p.m. And replays will be shown every Tuesday before the noontime news and every Saturday after the noontime news. This has been Ronelyn Faith Vailoces-No. See you next week, only here on
#Silliman.